Hey everybody out there, I just wanted to make this video because I've been getting a lot of questions recently about how we use Ableton Live in our worship sets. My wife and I are with a ministry called Eagle's Wings Ministries, where a lot of the focus is on worship. We travel extensively and are constantly doing worship sets in different settings. And one of the specific kind of unique attributes about our approach to worship is that we really try to flow and be sensitive to the leading of the Holy Spirit in the midst of the worship set. So we really try to follow that not only with song lists and how we approach the actual time of worship in the set, but actually within the songs as well. So what do I mean by that? I mean, we usually pick a set of 5, 6, 7 songs, but within that set we're completely flexible and always saying, okay, where are we going in this set? We rarely, if ever, run down the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 songs that we pick in order, and we very, very rarely plan those things out. And the same goes within the song. We never do intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, verse 2, and so on and so forth, so where we just go through kind of a structured, pre-planned song. And we found that that's really conducive to creating an atmosphere where God can really move and speak through the worship, where it becomes a two-way communication. There's a lot of prophetic song in our worship. There's a lot of spontaneous music instrumentally and vocally. And, sometimes we'll be 2 songs into a set that we had planned, and it'll just be like, whoa, Amazing Grace would really hit the spot right now. And we jump to that and we do that. So that's our approach to worship. A lot of people have asked us how we keep that flexibility and keep that flow while using things like click tracks and loops and arpeggiated synths and things like this that are obviously programmed and require a bit of planning to execute properly. And so I just want to show you the way that we do that because, again, I'm getting a lot of questions about that recently. So first of all, obviously this is Ableton Live. That's what we use to fire all of the clicks and loops. And specifically, this is an amazing template that was put up by a worship leader named Christian Ponsford, and we'll put his link up there for you. But he created this template. This is the absolute best template I've ever seen for live worship, and I wanted to support him, so I actually purchased it. He has it for sale on his website. You can just buy the template, so I purchased it. But I'll just talk you through it quickly. You can go over to his YouTube channel, and he explains it in depth. But basically, we have different tracks here and the different scenes over here. So we have the ambient pads track. This is just various, all of the keys, ambient pads, which I'll show you some of how we use that. But okay, so we got all the different keys, just a pad that keeps going. Great pads that he created. And really handy to have. Again, I'll show you how we use it. Then we have a loops track here for firing loops. We have our multi-tracks here. So we have beats or loops and piano and keys and bass, guitars. All the various parts to various songs go in there for different instruments. And depending on the venue we're in, we can send those, we can isolate those and send them back to the house, to the monitors, and control those all separately, or we can mix them together and group them and mix them down and send them in one. Then we have cues here, so the voice that says
intro. Whoa.
well, that's weird, but he says intro normally, usually. So intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, talking the band through the song, and then we have basically this is a track that simply controls this click right here. It tells this click to go on or off during depending on what we need. Then we have a track here. This is a great part where you can send MIDI to control video. You can control on song, which we use also. I'll talk a little bit about that. But you can control Pro Presenter. You can control lighting. Basically anything you can dream up, Ableton can send out MIDI to control other devices. And then we have a track here for Omnisphere that I use just for playing Omnisphere live. And lastly, we have a MIDI track here with something that I'll show you in a second. So basically, this is our template, and then down this side you see all the scenes, and you see the various songs that we have loaded in. And we have this is a smaller set that I'm just using, or a smaller session, but in our main session we have 125 songs, and so it's probably 500 or 600 different scenes. So the question becomes, if you're trying to flow in a place of worship where you don't always know your set list, which is our approach, and you have over 100 songs and you have 500 or 600 scenes that represent the different parts of those songs. You know, you have 500 intros and 500 verses and choruses and interludes and verses and verse 2, bridge, endings. You have all these pieces. How in the world do you navigate that in the midst of a live set? And I want to show you how we do that and just kind of how it works. And if people want to know the specifics, like the back end and the programming, I'll do another video on that. But I don't want to get into all of that today. So basically what we use to control Ableton Live to fire all these things is an APC Mini controller, a Kai APC Mini, and that has 64 buttons on it essentially, and it can fire 8 scenes at a time. And you know where those 8 scenes are by this red box right here that you can see. So wherever the red box is, that's what's showing up on my hardware, on my APC Mini controller. Okay, so if I fire scene 1 on my APC Mini, it's going to do that one right there, and so on and so forth down here. So the question then becomes, in the middle of a set, how do you move this red box to get the APC Mini, to get your hardware controller to fire the specific scenes that you need without jumping over to the keyboard and scrolling through and trying to do all this in the middle of a set? And not only that, but it won't let you actually move this ring box here. So the key to all of this is a brilliant Max for Live plugin that's right here, that's called Novation Launch Sync, and that's made by isotonicstudios.com, and that's what this MIDI track is right here. This is Novation Launch Sync Pro XL. What this lets you do, amongst many things, is control where this red highlighted box goes specifically. So I could put any track number I wanted in any scene. If I hit scene 25, it jumps the red box up to scene 25, which is right here. So any number you put in, it will relocate that red box. That's one of the functions. It does many other things, but that's one of the main things. And each of these controls is MIDI assignable, so you can assign MIDI to it and control it remotely. So what we've done is we have on our MIDI track, we have a MIDI clip right here for each song. And each song has automation that tells Novation Launch Sync where to move the red box. Let me show you what I mean. So if we're over here and we want to do Shout It Out, when we hit the start scene, each song has a start scene, and all the start scene does is start the click and fire this MIDI clip here. So watch the red box. The red box, the ring box is up here in Our God. Watch what happens if you want to go to shout it out suddenly or in the midst of the worship set and it's unplanned. You just fire that. Did you see the red box move down here and then go down, and it's set up now on the 8 tracks for shout it out. So from the APC Mini we can just begin to fire those tracks. And so on and so
Chorus. Chorus. Bridge.
And so on and so forth. So this start scene here starts the click and moves the ring box. I'll stop the click. I'll show you. I'll just pick another song. We have Hillsong Alive here. So this scene, the start scene for Alive, will jump that red ring box down. It pulls it down, and then it goes down one scene. Okay, and that happens for every song. Same thing down here. Did you feel the mountains tremble? So every time we hit the start scene of a song, I know my APC Mini is going to be lined up with the correct scenes in Ableton, and that can go all the way down all 500 scenes. So that's how we get that lined up. And one of the other neat things is that I'll show, I guess, on a different video if people want to see, is we actually control these start scenes from OnSong. In OnSong, you can program MIDI for any song you want. So when you pull up that song and open it, it sends MIDI over to Ableton and fires that scene. So if I open Shout It Out, I don't have it connected right now, but if I open Shout It Out in OnSong, as soon as I open that song, it's going to send MIDI over here and start that track. Okay? So that's how we get through 100 songs. We have them at our fingertips here with a flow without having to pre-plan our sets. So now where Christian's, where his pads here are amazing and come in, notice the click doesn't start because we have a metronome off MIDI clip here. So we're just playing that G flat, that F sharp. Hands are free, and now we want to start Shout It Out. We're going to fire that track. Notice the stop button is removed here because most times we want that pad to keep going. So right now, we're just playing that pad just so something's going on and it doesn't interrupt the flow. We've started that track, so our drummer is getting the click in his head. He's ready. We got the tempo. The red ring box is lined up on the APC Mini, and we're ready from the hardware controller, which I also don't have hooked up. If I did, I would just simply fire the intro.
Intro.
And at that point, the pad stops. Probably I'd be playing live and I would kind of take over that pad and it wouldn't be that abrupt. Alright, so let me give another example. Let's just say I want to use that E pad for now. Most times we don't even use these pads live, but they're there in case we need to create it. Okay, so in OnSong we'll open up Alive, and as soon as we do, it'll fire that. It moves our box down, starts the click, and then we can fire this.
Intro.
We can go all through our song.
Chorus.
Okay, so that's how we use it. I want to just show you one other thing. Here we have Did You Feel the Mountains Tremble, and an old school song called We Will Dance that we kind of do in a modern way with like a house feel to it. These songs go back and forth between each other really well. They're both in the same key, they're both in the same meter, they're both in the same tempo. Which, by the way, these tempo markings here tell the click how fast or what tempo to lock into. That's why these are all here. So basically, Did You Feel the Mountains Tremble? Let's say we're doing that D pad. We open Did You Feel the Mountains Tremble in OnSong. which is going to fire that scene and move our ring box down for the APC Mini controller. All right, and from there we can go into this song. Okay, so we can go into that song. But then we have additional automation linked over to the Novation launch sync. Because if I want to go from Did You Feel the Mountains Tremble into We Will Dance, I need to move this ring box down so that I can have my APC Mini hardware controller ready to go. You know, I can't be over here and searching for scenes and trying to lead worship and play keyboard, which I lead from, and do all that at once. I just need to fire a scene and have it lined up and know that it's there. So if we're over here in this song, I can click on this to We Will Dance intro and watch the box move. This MIDI clip here moves the box down. And now my APC is lined up here. I can go into anything.
Chorus.
And I can go back up if I want to. And that gives us complete flexibility within those two songs. I can repeat choruses as many times as I want. I can go back and forth between the songs as much as I want. I can and it allows me complete control by using my 8 scenes on my hardware controller, my APC Mini. Without using the mouse or the keyboard or anything, I can get anywhere I need. And then combining OnSong with that, I can jump to any song in our entire list at any time we want. Now, not all of our songs have loops or synths. Some of them just have click tracks. And some of them don't have anything. Some of them are not even in here, and we just do them completely live. But this is the best way we've found to kind of get the best of both worlds. I'll just show you one other thing. Because people have asked me then, what is this MIDI, specifically on this track? How does it move that box down? Well, this clip, it's just very simple automation. We have an envelope here. We're automating the down. So for each of these, it's moving the ring box, that red box, down one scene. Okay, and since this layout is never going to change, I know that to get from here to here is however many it is. I think it's 7. So when this clip is fired, let me go back up. I can move it in between those songs freely. So that's a little bit about how we use Ableton. There's a lot more in depth. I really encourage you again to start out with Christian Ponsford's template, and then it can be added onto like we've done. But it is by far the best template I've ever seen for worship using Ableton. All right, hope that helps. Email me with any questions.